Sagacity. 7 minutes of exercise for your mind.
If you've been working towards something and despite giving it what you believe to be your absolute best efforts, and when you take a moment to be ruthlessly honest with yourself, self-critique, zoom out, look down, see the landscape, you can't see any areas that you'd have done anything any differently, yet you're still not getting the outcomes that you wanted or hoped for or needed from the thing that you're working on. If that is the case, there may be many reasons why things are not working out for you. I am going to look at 2 reasons that things may not be working out for you. And I'm hoping that at least one of these 2 reasons will be the catalyst for you seeing what the exact changes are that you need to make so that you get the rewards for the work that you're putting in to get to where you want to be. Reason number 1, I'm going to suggest that even though we believe we're doing everything at the best that we can, there is a better way to do the thing that we're doing. And that may be that we need to make it a little bit more micromanageable and identify each chunk, each piece of the puzzle, and pick out which pieces of that puzzle we are not performing at the best that we could in order to contribute to the outcome that we're looking for. So it can be quite a painful process to go through that, especially when, as I've described earlier, you believe that you've done everything you possibly can. And it might be that you have done everything that you possibly can. It may be that your skill set at this moment in time is not as good as it could be, and therefore, even though you've put all of your efforts into it, the outcomes don't match what you expected to get from the efforts you've put in. And a solution to that would be to get some support to develop your skill set so that your efforts are rewarded and you start to see the outcomes that you want. It could be that your skill set isn't actually far off where it needs to be in all areas, and what you perceive to be the maximum effort that you could put in with that skill set isn't 100% your maximum effort. And there might be some more efficient ways to apply your skill set that you're not aware of, which would mean your productivity level goes up, even though as far as you're concerned right now, your productivity is at its absolute limit. So there's going to be some humility needed to have a look at this, and there's going to be some pain if we realise that we've been putting a lot of work in and there could have been a better way to do it. But that should be superseded eventually by the fact that you're going to start getting what you'd hoped for. So I think it's worth the humility and worth the potential pain, and definitely worth swallowing a little bit of pride and maybe even going back to some people that offered some support previously and you declined it thinking that you were on the right track at the right pace to get to what you wanted. Now, sourcing that support can come in many different ways. You can go online, you can go to the library. There are still some libraries out there. I haven't seen one lately, but they are out there. You can, fill in inquiry forms and reach out to different organisations that specialise in whatever it is you're trying to do. You can do things on the sly if you don't want to own up and accept that in public that you've been a bit stubborn and you should have done things differently. So there is that way of doing it. There is also the way of doing it where you just go and start asking some people that you know have seen some success in the same area that you're trying to achieve. If you've got the opportunity to sit and have a coffee and conversation and explain to them everything that you've done, be open about the fact that you felt like you were on the complete right track, explain your reasons why you believed you're on the right track as well. And if that person's a good person, they'll be able to dissect that information and give you the little nuggets of information and adaptation that you need to get the rewards that you need. So that's reason number 1, is your skill set or your productivity is not quite where you thought it was at. Reason number 2 is that you're not supposed to be doing it anyway. Because sometimes we get ourselves into situations where we start doing something and everything seems like it's the best idea. It's in our best interests. It's in the best interests of those around us that we care about. It might be a career path that we felt was correct. It might be a new qualification. It could be a sport that we've started. It could be a team within a sport that you've joined because you felt like that was the right place for you to feel part of something and enjoy being a part of that sport. All these different things could be the reason that you started what you're doing. It is completely normal for that to change. As time progresses, you might find out things that you weren't aware of earlier on. We don't know till we know. So there's nothing wrong with the fact that you started on this journey and your feelings about this same thing are not the same anymore. But you've got to make a decision at some point whether your feelings about this journey are because you're not enjoying it, and therefore reason one might be where you can make some subtle changes that get you to the point where you are enjoying it. But if you've exhausted those avenues in reason one, and you still can't see a way forward where you're going to get a smile on your face from doing the thing that you're doing, if the smile on your face is going to come from you achieving whatever it is you set out to achieve, then sometimes there has to be a little bit of sort of digging in and getting through the rough stuff so that you can enjoy that reward. But if you've decided that that reward is no longer something you're excited about seeing happen, it might be time to step away. And even though you've put in a lot of time and effort and potentially resources such as financial input to get you to where you want to be, it might be that you just have to say, I didn't know till I knew, but I now do know, and I've looked into it properly. I've considered all my other options, and I'm going to step away from this and put my energy and resources into something else. And I'm going to learn from that journey, and maybe I'll check in a little bit more regularly so I don't get so far down the path before I realise it's not for me. So it's one of those two reasons, hopefully. And if it's not one of those two reasons, hopefully it's giving you food for thought about what the reasons could be that you're not getting to where you want to be.